What's up, my beautiful people? Exile451 here with yet another daily dose of Reddit Happy. Gonna revisit a sub that I haven't been to in a little while, r/getmotivated, and it's gonna be a little different today since it's gonna be both stories and advice. So, let's get to it. Our first post comes from user Verto. Never give up, no matter what. Sorry for the long story. The worst time in my life was when I got sick last year in freshman year. For context, I had been running top of the nation times as an 8th grader from middle school, and I run about 7 miles a day. Thing is, I wasn't when I got into high school because I got sick with an illness in August that I couldn't identify till December, and I was sick in bed for the entire time. I could barely walk to the living room, and I had constant pounding headaches. I was absolutely miserable, and I thought about suicide almost constantly. I pretty much cried myself to sleep every night. Even when we went to the doctor, they couldn't figure anything out. During this period of time, I had blood tests close to once a week, I had 2 MRIs, and we went to one of the best neurologists or whatever in the country. All that and nothing. The blood work came back with nothing, the MRI showed nothing, and the neurologist gave me antidepressants and said it was because of some teenage hormones or something. After all of that, there were 2 more months of pain. The antidepressants did absolutely nothing. I probably would have killed myself a week or 2 later if my mom's friends hadn't reached out to her. Dr. R, who is an infectious disease doctor, saw my mom's post on Facebook and contacted her. A day later, we were in his office where he did some tests on me and said, "You probably have," and I'm apologizing in advance, I know I'm gonna butcher this, "ehrlichiosis," and that's why the blood tests didn't show anything. Ehrlichiosis is basically Lyme disease, but rarer and a lot harder to find. It's the swelling of the brain membrane, so it doesn't show up on MRIs, I think. He gives me a medication, and 2 weeks later, I was better. No more headaches, no more weakness, I was back. However, the story doesn't end there. Remember how I said I was sick from August to December? Yeah, that was 5 months of training I missed out on. By the time I got better, I had lost all of my base because I couldn't run a mile without grasping for breath. So some people in this situation would have quit running, but not me. I just started to train again even though my mother told me to quit and focus on school. So every day I would run after school, just working up my base little by little, day by day. It's a -9 degrees Fahrenheit outside and it's snowing, but who cares? The cold hasn't ever bothered me. And by the time track came around in the spring, I had gotten back down to about 75% of what my ability had been. So the first race comes around, and I'm facing all the fellow freshmen I faced at state the year before. Some of these people are guys who were, I'd say, better than me in middle school and were almost certainly better than me now. But I get to the first race and I do well. I win it by 15 meters and break my personal record. Physical limits? Never heard of them. Anyways, the season goes on and I get better and better, breaking my school's record along the way. In the last race, I got a 4:40 and miss out on state by 4 places and about 16 seconds. But that doesn't matter because for a freshman, I was still top 10 in state. So that's the story of how I almost died and came back to become the best runner in my school's history. So just think, if a kid like me can do this, imagine what you can do. Whoa, dang, that's quite the recovery there. I mean, thankfully, I myself have never dealt with a disease quite like that, but I've definitely let myself get fairly out of shape and let myself atrophy over a long period of time, and so I know what it's like to re-break yourself back in like that. And it's tough. And on top of that, for you, OP, you had to go through something that nearly killed you. I mean, frick, props to you. I don't know how many teenagers would have been able to put up with that and go back to a normal life afterwards. But honestly, for being a freshman in high school, this is an incredibly poignant and insightful post of just the importance of staying motivated and not letting life beat you down. Life throws you curveballs. Life will do weird and crazy and stupid things to you for no reason at all. It's up to you to stick through it. You did, and look at how your life turned out now. I'm really excited to hear that you're doing so well. Just please keep doing what you're doing, keep that open mind like you have, and don't let the cynicism that's so common among kids these days tear you down. You did a great thing here, and it's a wonderful example of what stick-to-itiveness can be. Also, -9 degrees, dude. Props. I don't do cold very well, so I admire someone who can. But again, congratulations on accomplishing this much. Thank you so much for sharing the post, and wherever you're at right now in life, I truly do wish you the best. Our next story is from user CuriousCat8004. I sent a demo of my music to my favorite indie record label a year ago, kept working on myself all year, and they actually responded yesterday. Background is, I'm a DIY musician, but pretty ambitious. So if I could find a label that really got me and could help me grow, I'd be down. Early last year, I thought, what have I got to lose? And sent a demo package to my favorite dream label. I wasn't really expecting anything, so when they never answered, I just thought they didn't think I was ready, and I just kept working on all the skills and opportunities I was already working on. I didn't follow up because I didn't want to be annoying. Yesterday, I woke up to an email from the head of the label apologizing because my mail got buried and they just opened it. I wrote a personal letter with it about how much a lot of their music has inspired me, and they seemed to like that. We're not talking about signing yet, but he's willing to meet me and discuss what I'm doing and give some advice. It's an amazing opportunity to show them all the hard work I've done and what I've achieved. And even if it leads nowhere anytime soon, the advice alone should be very valuable. And as of 2 days ago, I had totally written them off as a potential contact. Not sure how many musicians are in here, but many kinds of dreams and paths do require you to reach out and make connections and promote yourself. In my experience, you will get ignored most of the time. But I have also had the experience of following up a couple of times, and suddenly on the third time, they're interested. So if you get ignored by 1 or even 100 people, don't get discouraged. Keep working on yourself, reach out to more people, and follow up every few months with the people who ignore you. And take risks and reach out to people you admire even if you think they'll say no. Because you never know. If you do all of this, things will eventually happen. Well, that ties in with the first post here about the importance of just never giving up. Frankly, I'm in a somewhat similar boat with when I was starting to build up a voiceover company, in that I had no clients, I had no contacts, and it just took a lot of just spamming emails and following up and just getting my name out there and noticed. But eventually, things did pan out. It just goes to show it's all a numbers game. The more contact you put out there, the better your odds are that you're going to hit someone right when they need a person, or that maybe they just missed your first contact. It never hurts to follow up with people. It's just like that old saying says, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. As long as you're willing to keep trying, eventually something will work out for you. OP, I'll be honest, I wouldn't necessarily expect this to be quote-unquote your big break in terms of getting signed or anything, but like you said, this is an extremely valuable opportunity that you've been lucky enough to be given. Take full advantage and run with it. I'm so glad that you had this experience and that you felt like sharing it. Thank you so much for posting this, and I wish you the best of luck with meeting with them. Hopefully I'm wrong and you'll get signed, but if not, you've had an extremely fortunate opportunity. Thank you again for posting this, and wherever you're at, I do wish you the best right now. Our next post is from user WordLesser, but first, if you're enjoying the video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you can get more of your daily dose of Reddit Happy. Go out and fail. So many of us are afraid of taking action, because taking action might result in failure and rejection. I'm telling you, right now, go out and fail. If you never start, you'll fail at the first try. You're failing at starting. You're failing at doing the thing. Sure, the risk of starting something is that you might find yourself not succeeding. You failed at succeeding, but guess what? You succeeded at starting, at making the first steps, and you succeeded at finding something you need to work on. The step you failed at. You improved because you started, because you tried. If you don't start, you'll have 1 failure and 0 successes, a 0% success rate. If you do start and fail, you'll at least have 2 successes, starting and finding a point of improvement, and 1 failure, a 66% success rate. So, apply for those jobs, ask those people out, start that new project, clean that room, cook that meal, take that class, participate in that discussion, call that friend, do the thing you're afraid of because of failure and rejection. It's a start, which is more than most people accomplish. It's definitely more than you'll accomplish if you don't do the thing. OP, I can apply so much of this to what I'm trying to do with this channel here. I mean, YouTube success rates are abysmally low to begin with, and especially trying to go into something as niche as Reddit narration is extremely difficult to get ahead in. There's so many channels out there. But like you said, even if this fails, it's still been something that I attempted and therefore a success. Do I know how this is going to turn out? Hardly. Right now, it's on the path to monetize, but that's still a ways out, and frankly, it could all collapse at any moment. At the end of the day, though, I can look back and say that I tried, just like anyone else who's willing to take that first step and try and do something crazy. This is so applicable to so many people out there today, I believe. Thank you so much for sharing this, and wherever you're at, I do wish you the best. Our next post is from user Lucidable. Self-confidence is not a prerequisite for acting. It is a reward for risk-taking. We see successful people and we often think, I wish I had that kind of self-confidence. But that is getting it backwards. That's not why they're successful. Self-confidence is not a requirement for success. It is the reward we get once we've succeeded despite our fears. When we feel intimidated by something, there is nothing we can do to magically create confidence because, by definition, if we feel confident about something, we are not intimidated by it. Confidence is about knowing we can handle something. It is predicated on knowns, whereas fear arises from unknowns. Fear is not about actual danger. It is about potential danger. It is not a measure of reality. By the time reality is hurting you, it's likely too late to do anything about it. Fear is an indicator that we should be paying more attention to the situation at hand. It helps us prepare in case that rustle in the bush is a bear and not just the wind. We are descendants of the fearful cavemen who went on alert 9 times when it was just the wind because the 10th time it was an actual bear. Courage doesn't mean not being afraid. It means being afraid and then doing it anyway. The simple act of pushing through the fear, of continuing to move despite the fear, that is courage, which means that being afraid is actually an opportunity. If we are not afraid of something, then we aren't being brave when facing it. But when we are afraid, we may never not be afraid. We may never develop confidence, but courage is always the answer. By focusing on courage, we fight emotion with emotion. The more we are afraid of something, the more courage it takes to overcome it. And therefore, the better we feel about ourselves. We have an infinite reservoir of courage once we realize that we don't overcome our fear because it doesn't go away. That fight or flight response is real. That discomfort you feel is real. It is not going away. The key to courage is to stop having our goal be to reduce discomfort. The difference between the person who fears and doesn't move and the person who fears but is courageous is just that. The simple act of moving despite your fear. Embrace your fear as an opportunity for courage and you will succeed. Wow, really powerful post there. You know, OP, you're right. Courage really isn't not being afraid. It is really simply that willingness to keep going on even when you are. Sometimes we let our fear hold us back from some of the best things that could happen for us in our life. How many people out there haven't tried to strike up a relationship or go on a date with someone that they feel is an absolute perfect match for them because they fear rejection? How many times has someone had the opportunity to do something on a vacation that they would remember for the rest of their lives and let their fear of something that would be a part of it hold them back from doing so? Moving through fear is what allows us to really live. And at the end of the day, we want to be able to look back at our lives and say, that's what we did, was really live. Thank you so much for sharing this post. Wherever you're at, I truly do wish you the best, and I think you've hit the nail right on the head here. I think this is something a lot of people would benefit from hearing. That was r/getmotivated, and if you want more motivational stories or advice on how to change your life for the better, then go ahead and check out that playlist link in the description below. Now you guys go out there, have a great day. I will see you all tomorrow. Until then, I'm Exile451. Stay beautiful, people.